Hello, my name is David Malin, and I'm the instructor for Computer Science E1, Understanding Computers and the Internet at Harvard University's Extension School. You're watching one of our videos of the week. For more such videos or information about this course, visit us on the web at computerscience1.org. Enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Ray Diaz, one of the TAs for Computer Science E1. Welcome to our video of the week. Today, we're going to talk about scripting. Well, what is scripting? Essentially, at its very core, scripting is just another term for programming. However, in the IT industry and in general geek use, scripting tends to refer to short utilitarian programs developed in interpreted languages. So what does that mean? Well, interpreted languages like Perl, PHP, Python, VBS tend to be written in text files. You can open, for example, a VBS file in any text editor. They tend to be written as plain text. They are ingested by the scripting interpreter and then they are executed as they are interpreted. The concept is similar to that of a web page and a web browser. The browser renders the page as it interprets the markup language. Programmers tend to write scripts for any number of reasons. The types of scripts that are written are as wide and varied as there are jobs in IT and just personalities writing them. Scripts have been written for anything from making websites more dynamic to automating certain system administrator tasks for an IT department. So let's go ahead and dive right into a couple of examples. I'm going to start here with a sample VB script. Let me give you a little bit of background about this one. In my day job, we support a desktop client, a piece of software that sits on Windows desktops, and one small component of that client is that it needs to send email notices. Well, because our customer base is diverse, spread across multiple LANs with multiple administrators with different rules, some use, for example, McAfee firewall. Some don't use any firewalls at the desktop. So one common support issue we get is that the client that we give to our customers cannot send those email messages. Well, as you know from listening to our previous video on email, the typical port for SMTP for sending out mail is port 25. So what we have here is a VB script to test if mail can actually go out through port 25. So let's go through it. The very first line, denoted by the single quote, is a comment. This script sends an email. Beneath that, we're setting a few variables. We're using CDO, the CDO framework, to send our email. We're defining the from field, the person or the email address from which we are sending this message as script@example.tld. We are setting the recipient, the to, as recipient@example.tld. We're setting the subject of this email as the text string, your subject line goes here. We're setting the body of the email, the text body, as the body of your email goes here, be descriptive. In the example earlier of the desktop client, the subject might be test email from desktop X, and the text body might be, if you receive this email, then port 25 is open at desktop X. The next part of the script, denoted by the comment email connection parameters, just indicates that the next several lines help set up the stuff necessary to actually send an email from this script. I'm going to wave my hands at that a little bit because I don't want this to be about Visual Basic syntax. The idea is just to show you how simple and straightforward some scripting can be. Essentially what we're doing here is we're using Microsoft Schema to send an email to, as you can see on line 18, the email server smtp-server.example.tld, and as you can see on line 21, on port 25 of that server. And line 25 basically just says, go ahead and send this email through smtp-server.example.tld on port 25 using the variables stated above, the from address, the to address, the email subject line, and the text of the email. Another use of scripting, like I mentioned before, might be for system administrator tasks. Say, for example, checking that all your servers are up after some kind of service outage, power outage, a network outage, or whatever. For example, let's say you wanted to ping all your servers just to make sure that they were up and responding. Well, my department, for example, happens to be responsible for approximately 50 or so servers. It would be really inconvenient to try and ping them all at the command line one by one, and it would be all too easy to forget one or more servers when you've got 50 to cycle through. So one use of scripting is to have a handy-dandy script just ready to run and check the status of all your servers. So here we have a ping script in Python, the scripting language Python, which iterates through 5 hosts and just pings them to make sure that they're up. For the sake of the example, it was just easier to have 5 hosts rather than 50, otherwise we'd be scrolling up and down. On the first couple of lines of the script here, ping.py, we have some comments as denoted by the pound symbol or the sharp symbol, whatever you like to call it. The comment just reminds us what this script does. We're defining a list and iterating through it to ping some hosts. On line 4, we're using an import to pull in some Python functionality from a module called OS. We're defining a list of hosts to iterate through, host1.domain.tld, host2.domain.tld, etc. And then for I in hosts, this is our iteration, we're going to call on the operating system and execute a ping command. While the script is on the first item in the list, that command will be ping host1.domain.tld. As it iterates through the list, it will issue the commands ping host2.domain.tld, ping host3.domain.tld, etc. By now, I think you can see our point that these short scripts are really utilitarian, really useful in a variety of ways. But now let's take this ping example to the next level. One obvious problem with this script is that it can be unwieldy. Unless you update the script all the time, you can forget to add your latest and greatest hosts, whatever the most recent one or several servers you just bought, and they would be excluded from your ping. So hopefully you keep an inventory of your servers. And continuing our example here with Python, I can use the file input module to import, so to speak, a text file that contains a list of my servers, my inventory, read it, and iterate through that list to do what the previous script did, ping each one in turn. You can see here that this script, although seemingly more complicated, we're importing a piece of text and then iterating through it and then issuing a command, actually takes up fewer lines of code. Once again, the first couple of lines are just comments to remind us what we're doing with this script. I'm importing the OS and file input modules, and then I'm iterating through the text file that contains the list of my hosts. And just like with the previous example, I'm issuing my ping command. Well, that's our introduction to scripting. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to learn more about using Python, Perl, PHP, whatever scripting language happens to appeal to you, we do recommend going online and learning more. Lots of these programs have lots of websites devoted to them. If you are interested in Python, for example, simply go to python.org. Thanks for watching our video of the week.